Hello my beautiful badgers, Messi Coder back again with another live dev interview. This time it's with Harry Alisavakis, Unity Shader Guru. This interview was taken on my live Twitch stream, or the w.twitch.tv/themessycoder, where I'm interviewing every day leading up to Christmas, 12 days to Christmas, a different Unity asset store publisher, developer, streamer and game dev. So sit back, enjoy, and I'll see you all in a moment. Everyone who's sitting at home in front of their Google mirrors, Alexas, Amazons, monitors, laptops, fancy PCs, give a warm and messy welcome to Harry Alisavakis over in Greece. It's midnight. Well, no, it's actually 12 past midnight in Greece. Welcome, buddy. Welcome to the stream.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for coming. Now, you are aware that you have to sing. So
I think so, yeah.
So I did warn you. It obviously doesn't have to be loud because everyone's asleep in your house. But if you like to give a verse or two in any language, however, I would prefer in your native because it makes it a little bit more special.
Okay, yeah. Let's see. I thought I had like some songs in mind, but then I realized that it would be too late, and I actually have a guitar behind me that I could probably use, but again, it's too late now.
Yeah, it would wake everyone up, wouldn't it? Oh, that's hard. We'll have to do a second stream later on where you can play all the music to everyone.
Oh wow! Now I'm bound to that, huh? Okay.
So what you can sing something very gently and quietly though, very shortly, like a short little ditty. Is there like a national, like a favorite national song that you would sing, Anavishi or something?
Well, there's a kind of revolutionary one from the era of the World War II.
Oh, let's go for it.
Pretty fancy, yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. Very excited.
It's going a bit like βάζει ο ντούτσε τη στολή του και τη σκούφια τη ψηλή του με όλα τα φτερά και μια νύχτα με φεγγάρι την Ελλάδα πάει να πάρει βρε το φουκαρά. That's it pretty much.
Wow.
Nobody else knows the rest of the lyrics.
You can make them up to anything you wanted. That was brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Yeah, it's actually making fun of Mussolini, so that's fun.
So what do the words mean then?
Well, it says that like Duce, like Mussolini, is putting on his uniform and his like tall hat with all the feathers, and one night with the moon he decides to like take Greece, like the poor guy and all that. So yeah.
Oh my word!
Yeah.
That's brilliant. So you don't just sing for a living, do you?
No, that's not my day job. That's just like for the nights and the weekends.
Would you like to explain to everyone at home what it is you do? Background into yourself. Just introduce us to who is this legend that is Harry Alisavakis.
Yeah, well, I don't know about legend, but well, I have a background in CS. Like I started studying informatics and telecommunications here in Athens, Greece, with the sole purpose of getting into games and game development in general. So I started up with a concept of that, I could start coding for games and all that. And in the process of teaching myself Unity, I discovered shaders and graphics, and I really liked all of that stuff because I was also messing around with 3D and other digital media. Yeah, now I'm currently working as a technical artist with a really cool company named Jumpship in the UK.
Oh,
yeah. And while I was starting to teach myself shaders, because exactly I know how troublesome it is for people to learn shaders, I was like documenting my process and like writing tutorials on shaders and trying to like strengthen the community around technical art and all that. So yeah, that's it pretty much.
So you basically started your blog because if anyone's no way, give me an exclamation mark Harry in chat. Give me an exclamation mark Harry in chat, which is like HARRY. If anyone can't understand my R's as I pronounce my R's as W, if anyone starts doing HAWY in chat, you're going to be in trouble. So there's a link to Harry Alisavakis' his website, and if you go on it and you click on the blog, you see that my take on shaders, how I do it, post-mortems, shader bits, and write-ups. And it's pretty much like going to shader school.
Yeah, pretty much. Though there's a lot more like useful resources from other awesome tutorial creators as well on the archive page. You can find like some really cool resources to get started there as well. So yeah, it's I think it's a nice small resource to get into shaders. Like they're Unity specific, but I mean, it's applicable.
Have you looked at Unreal? Because I was told that when you use Unreal, you have to make your own shaders every time anyway.
Well, I mean, yeah, technically, yeah, I have used Unreal for a little bit, like just experimenting. It is pretty fun, though. I mean, I don't have like the biggest love for node-based shader authoring. Though the material editor in Unreal is really great, and it's probably it has gotten better from when I actually used it. But like, yeah, I don't usually do node-based.
So you're doing everything by hand in the code when you're doing. So what's your take on this new shader render pipeline inside Unity then?
Well, everybody loves it, so why shouldn't I love it as well? Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say not everybody loves it.
Yeah, I agree. That was purely sarcastic. I think it's a bit disputed.
It's Marmite, isn't it?
Yeah, like at least for the graphic side, like people who worked with shaders before, going into the URP and Hdrp and all that, they're not having a lot of fun.
Oh, well, I was gonna get. I love how you just delve straight into the controversy because I was going to build up to it slowly. Okay. Yesterday, if you watched yesterday's stream at all, we've connected, and he told us the inside scoop that there's actually two separate teams at Unity that aren't connected in any way. One is the URP team, and the other is the HDRP team, and right. they do not they don't interact, but basically one is completely independent to the other, and they have their own agendas as well. So it's bizarre. It's like the Wild West in there.
Yeah, well, it kind of makes sense because I mean, like Unity, as in that's like Unity. The main thing it did is like basically expose the render pipeline and give you the option to create like a scheduled render pipeline. And then it also like created the divisions to basically release URP and HDRP. So it's like Unity made pipelines, but it became like the mainline because it's made by Unity, but it's not like, I don't know if you get me. It's basically meant for users to basically create their own pipelines, but Unity is creating their own. And I mean, yeah, it can be a bit messy when there's when it's basically like outsourced, like on different teams. Well, not outsourced, but yeah, like
Which one do you play with the most? Are you a HDRP person, a URP person, or a built-in person?
Well, since I write everything by hand, I'm still trying to advocate for the built-in. So yeah, everything.
Are you being dragged screaming and kicking into the new world?
I mean, I feel like it's going to be the norm. Like Unity is almost calling it built-in legacy. And it's kind of hurting me every time I hear that. Oh. Like it's the legacy pipeline. I still use it.
Is it like a dagger in your heart?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. But yeah, no, I see where it's going, and I think it's going really, really into some really great direction. Honestly, it's just that right now they're still finding their footing with the whole shader graph and the features that they expose and don't expose. Like, I mean, up until recently, there wasn't the ability to like have multiple post processing passes and URP and all that stuff. Like we would separate the cameras, and I don't know, I haven't used it a lot, but yeah, like they're still adding features, so it will get there. I'm sure of it. But yeah, I prefer the built-in.
I always thought that your stuff that you were putting on. If anyone hasn't seen them on Twitter, hang on, let me spam your Twitter in the chat as well. I always thought that your stuff you were doing on Twitter was like the new Shader Vendor pipeline stuff because it looks so good.
Oh, thanks. But no, I mean, well, the Hdrp does have some really neat features that give you some great visuals out of the box, like volumetrics and all that. But I'm actually using some packages for that. Like, for example, I use Aura 2
Oh,
for
nice.
all,
Yeah.
yeah, for all my volumetric needs. It's amazing. And yeah, everything else, everything that's custom, it's like my own shader that's written, like with code and all that.
I would suggest if you've had a play with Cronex, we had him on yesterday. I was very impressed with his volumetric fog and mist, and it was inside URP. He's got a version for built-in and a version for URP as well. And the thing that it seemed to sell me on the URP was the ability to have fog and transparent materials without all of the headache that we've got with built-in and having to manually customize the shaders so that you can have like with Aura and you've got glass windows and stuff, you always have that annoying problem and you have to go in and I have to remember what did he tell me that I have to edit in the shader file every single time because I never remember it. How do you remember all this stuff as well? I mean, where does it live in your head?
Well, if you think that I actually remember and like know everything, like yeah, you're way off. I basically just have like this really huge playground project with pretty much all my experimental shaders and everything. Like I try and play around with. So I mostly copy and paste a lot. I even like copy and paste from my own tutorials. Like, yeah, I can't remember everything. I mean, pretty much the way I work with like creating new stuff is, researching how other people do like a part of what I want and see that, it's like that. And until I actually figure out how it's working and remember everything, I just like copy and paste code blocks here and there.
I feel so much better that it's not just me then. I thought
Oh,
I
no.
thought it was just me that keeps on forgetting everything and has to go back to his own tutorials.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
This is why I do the interviews. It's actually a very lazy way of me learning how to do stuff, and then I refer back to the videos as a guide, like my own private guide. Big Gamer says, does Harry plan on making any updates to the How I'll Do It section of his website?
That's a good question. Well, probably if I find any good effects, because like that section is like technically like recreating stuff from other games specifically. And okay, some of my other use cases are a bit more generic. I mean, it's like stylized water. I mean, a lot of games have stylized water. I'm not trying to replicate a specific stylized water. But for example, I recently did an experiment with like clouds that were very inspired from the Sky game, the Children of the Light thing, which is a gorgeous game, by the way.
Oh, I don't know that one.
It's from that game company, like that made Journey in Flower and all that. So yeah, it's actually a mobile game, which is freaking beautiful. Even like on mobile, it's beautiful.
Wow, I'll have to check. Can somebody in the chat link to it? and then we can see what it. Because I have no idea what that is. So I'm just going to your portfolio section.
Yeah, sure.
So
Yeah,
the last time you did an update on the how I do it was it looks like it was at 2017. It says on your website.
oh wow, it's been so long. Yeah. Yeah, my other use cases are a bit more generic, I guess. I haven't found any really specific effects that I have replicated yet. It's more like playing around with general concept, like grass, for example. Like I have 2 tutorials on grass and all that. So yeah, well, either way, in the future, I plan on making like a different format of tutorials that doesn't specifically focus on like specific use cases, but more on like concepts in general, like vertex displacement or like depth-based effects in general, like different concepts and what you can do with them. That's the plan, at least, because 2020 has not been a good year for my tutorials.
No, it's been a bit of a messed up year, hasn't it, for a lot of things, and it goes by without you even realizing. Now we're in December. It's the last few weeks of December. Hopefully, that just means that 2021 is going to be amazing.
Yeah, I hope so too. But even besides, well, all the horrible stuff that happened in 2020, 8 months of it was dedicated to me going to the army because we have mandatory conscription in Greece. So I lost like 8 months there, which weren't very productive.
Wow! You were in 2020 conscripted into the army.
Yeah.
When everyone else is supposed to be in lockdown, they still dragged you in to do your national service.
Well, yeah, I started in January where we didn't know what would happen. But either way, like people still are going, like if they're called to go, they are going even now. And supposedly they're taking some measures. They're not very effective, I have to say. But yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the whole thing is crazy either way. So I mean that was the list.
So what did you end up doing? Were you artillery or the infantry? What were you?
Well, almost. I was IT support basically.
Oh, brilliant!
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, I can't lie. I can't lie, and I obviously can't say a lot of details about what's going on there on an international Twitch stream. But you know, I had it better than most, and I was after the 3rd month. I was technically next to my home. Like really, I never even had a job that was that close to my home.
Wow.
I was like 3 minutes away by car. It was great. That was really convenient for me.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and because I had like the CS background and all that, I was like automatically in a specific, well, not force. I would not use the word force for what we were, but like a specific group of soldiers, quote unquote, that were like IT support technically for high-ranking officials and all that.
Oh man, I would kind of love to imagine that there's a special unit in the army that deals with like aliens and artificial intelligence, and you came in and they were like, "Do you know anything about computers?" Yeah, I know a thing or two.
Yeah, well, if it helps to like bring your expectations down, I was mostly fixing like matrices on Word, and I did some PowerPoint presentations. Yeah, and plugged people's Ethernet cables back in. So yeah.
So wasn't really Donald Trump's Space Force.
No,
it was more like IT crowd.
Yeah, it was so much like IT crowd. I never like related that much with it. So before, it was so much like IT crowd.
Did it give you any ideas for like to do something in Unity related to your time when you were in the army?
No, I don't think it was inspirational in any way, the whole experience.
Ah,
It was very tedious, just like really boring stuff.
waking up in the middle of the night to go do guard duty, listening to podcasts on the radio in your ear.
I could if I was actually not on that IT group I mentioned, because I told you I had it better than
Oh,
most.
so you don't, you didn't even have to do any guard duties.
Well, either way, I wasn't technically in like in a capability criterion basically to do guard duties, to basically hold the guns and all that, because of a really minor heart condition I have. Nothing too serious really. It's just like I can't like pick up heavy objects like in the long term technically. So really it's nothing, but they judged that I was not like suited basically to carry guns and all that, which was also great, by the way, because exactly I didn't have guard duties. And like in the first 2 months, I was in Evros, which is like on the very, very far north side of Greece, basically the northest side of Greece, right next to the border technically. And it was like January.
It's a little bit chilly then.
Yeah, especially for the poor guys that had to like do guard duty on like 3 a.m. at freezing cold and rain and all that. And I didn't have to do any of that. I was just even if I had like any guarding duty, it was like with no gun and like in the place where the soldiers slept and all that. So
Wow,
I was, yeah.
Anyone listening to this who was with you in your service is probably throwing things at the monitor right now.
Everybody hated us, like especially when I came back to Athens, like yeah, because we were the IT group were like 5 or 6 people, and yeah, we didn't have to like clean stuff up, or we didn't have to do any other guarding duties, or we didn't basically have to wake up early.
Oh my word!
Yeah, they hated us all so much, and I don't blame them, but I had a nice time. So. Sucks to be
that's
there.
crazy. Sucks to be them indeed.
Well,
you know what? In honor, actually, I'm going to say, in honor of all of that lovely cold weather of being up in the north, I'm going to give away a present in honor of that, and I think it's very suited. It is a asset that not only includes cold weather and the kind of weather that you'd experience up in the mountains, but it also is linked to shaders.
Oh.
Yeah, in some regard.
Yeah. I have a fun fact for these 3 GLSL things you're looking at, but go on and I'll come back.
Tell me the fun fact.
Yeah, I think that these 3 actually that I have posted there, I actually did while I was in the army. And
see, I knew you were inspired.
Yeah, well, no, that was no inspiration from the actual army situation, but I actually did those on my phone.
What?
While I was really, really bored.
How did you do those on your phone?
Well, there's an Android app called GLSL Editor for Android by can't remember the name. God damn it! I always advertise it on Twitter and I forgot about it. Damn. Anyway, it's called GLSL Editor, and it's well, technically it is. I mean, you just write shaders on your phone because there are weird people that do that.
So while you were in the army, protecting the borders against alien invasion, you were still able to make these shaders using your Android phone. That's amazing.
Yeah, I had a lot of time on my hands. and while I was actually kind of not looking forward, but I was expecting that, I would be away from my computer, and I would just like turn my brain off games and shaders and all that. Well, this happened, so that didn't work that well.
Well, I
So
can
yeah,
imagine you just spend the whole time playing about with this app.
yeah.
Do you know the other thing I would have expected you to have done is had like a team viewer at home and remoting into team viewer from your mobile phone and using Unity from your mobile with team viewer or something.
Oh, that could have been a good idea. I mean, it would be an excruciating experience, uh, but yeah, it could have been a good idea.
It could have worked. All right, so
Yes.
we're going to give away a copy of uh, it's Thor Thunderstorm. Have you seen this?
No, just clicking the link now. Uh, oh, I think I have. I think it was in a package recently,
It was in a bundle.
in a bundle.
It was in
So
a
I think I might have it then.
if you manage to grab that bundle in time, you've probably got it. But thankfully, because people donate wonderful gifts, and we've got lots of beautiful badges who'd like to donate presents. This one was donated by our very own Warspawn. Thank you, Warspawn, for donating this copy. So we're going to do. We're going to start the giveaway. If no one's got this one already, so we're going to open the giveaway for Thor Thunderstorm. All you need to do is put !raffle in the chat, not !waffle, but !raffle in the chat. And yes, this is used by the game Drone, and we had on the stream a little while ago showing us how to play Drone and talking about Drone, Nathaniel, one of the game creators of Drone, and he's also going to be on as one of the guests. That leads in to the 22nd, Tuesday the 22nd. Nathaniel Dalderson will be on as well, and after him will be Dogmatic, and then more Mountains. There you go. Isn't that very professional, the way I just linked one into the other?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, how many other GLSL experiment? This is the one that you did in the army. How many others did you do with this?
Let me check, because I have like my phone right here. I have completed ones. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, about 9 or 10.
Wow.
Yeah, so, not everything is as cool as these three though. Those are like cherry picked.
Do you have one that you go, what was I thinking? This is completely useless. This is rubbish. I'm gonna never show this to anyone.
No, but other ones are more plain and don't have like that nice colors and direction, which I think these do, at least for me. But it's also not easy to get that when you basically have just like code and like a bit of noise textures.
So, how do you preview it? How do you see it on your mobile? Is there some kind of like a Unity viewer on this app?
It's a compiler as well. So as you write it, it actually compiles it like automatically. Like as long as what you write is syntactically correct, it just outputs the result immediately.
If it's correct, like that. If it is correct, very dangerous.
Yeah. It's not always.
Especially if I've written it, it is horrendously wrong. I love this. I've done a tutorial. Actually, it was from Penny from Holistic 3D, who's also going to be on the stream. And there was an underwater tutorial that she did that I'd already done my own tutorial at the time, and then I watched hers and realized hers was so much better than mine. And it basically was using a video. You would have to download a video to get this kind of caustic effect.
Uh-huh.
So this caustic effect that you have in your animated light cookies, that is purely shader. There is no video or magic tree that or tricks to get this effect.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually a pretty obscure, as if shaders weren't obscure already, but it's an obscure type of shaders that's used in what Unity is calling custom render textures, which are not the same as like regular render textures. It's actually a like confusing name, really. Technically, you can imagine this as if they're like shaderable textures. Like instead of you could write a shader like, for example, an image effect where you don't care about any models and whatever in your scene, and it just like outputs colors and stuff in the screen, right? You can imagine that it's this, but you can store it on a texture, and it can be read as a texture 2D like by anything. So you can. I thought to myself, wait, then I can use that for a light quickie, and it worked. And apart, I wasn't the first one that thought of that. By the way, Mirza was also doing some experiments with that, but I didn't understand what he was doing at the time. So yeah, when I actually figured that out, I was so excited.
I got told off for using the rendered textures because I did it for my character selector, and I had a camera that basically would be on the characters that you're going to select, and it was orthographic camera, and then would generate that as a texture, and then I would put that on the UI. And I was told that's really bad for performance the way I was doing it. Are there before I ask you if there's any tricks to doing it, the raffle bot has stopped, so we need to pick a winner. It's like a cliffhanger. It's like tune in next time to know who did the murder. Let's pick a winner, and then you can tell me all the secrets about how to use the custom render textures without making your computer explode.
Yeah.
Exclamation mark, raffle, damn V cool, you just missed the raffle. Damn, V cool. Actually, damn V cool, you missed it by a few seconds. I'm really generous. I'll open up the giveaway again for, okay, you've got 20 seconds to enter the raffle. Anyone who, okay, if you've typed in the word exclamation mark raffle, you need to type in something else, because you can't type in the same thing twice. While we wait for you guys to join the raffle, Dan V Call and Merciless Enemy, you both are not in the raffle. You have to type exclamation mark raffle to join it. There you go, Dan V Calls it. So, Harry, tell me, while we wait for them, what should I do to use custom render textures without being bad and causing a problem?
Well, actually, what you mentioned was the regular render texture, which is why I mentioned that the naming is confusing, because it's a different thing, really.
This is completely different.
Yeah, if you go on in Unity and like right click on creating a new thing in the project, there's render texture, and then there's custom render textures, like a different thing.
It's a completely different thing.
Yeah, it's a really bad name. I'm telling you, it's confusing.
So it's got nothing to do with the standard render textures that we get told off for using.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's that bad of a practice actually for the normal render textures, to be honest. But
is the custom render textures better on performance or worse?
Well, it depends, but because what you do is technically like write a shader and output it on the texture, right? So it depends on the complexity of your shader, really, and also it has some really neat features which allow you to basically tell the custom render texture when to update. So if you have, like, for example, here I have a moving texture, right, for the animated light quickies. That means that I've told the custom render texture to basically update the shader on runtime, so it uses the timing and all that stuff. But you can actually say to just run it once, and it basically just stores the result. So it's free, basically. It's a texture.
I'm going to need to play this. Oh, you can share your screen with us in a moment and show us some of this magic, I beg of you. But right now, sure, I'm going to pick a winner. So the winner is Merciless Enemy. Merciless Enemy, you're a winner. Congratulations, Merciless Enemy. Everyone's like, oh, why did you let him in? Why did you let him in? Well, it doesn't matter. It's all about giving the gift of love and assets. Hit me up on the Discord, Merciless. Congratulations. Would you like to share your screen on Skype? And then I will share your screen to the world So make sure there's nothing inappropriate on there, or secrets that you've stolen when you were in the army about aliens that you're obviously not telling us about.
Yeah, of course. Those are all hidden. Okay, let's see share screen. All right.
Look at this is crazy. Hey, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's a really good example of what I was showing there with the custom red detection thing.
All right, cool. Let me work out how to share your Skype chat.
Oh.
There we go. If I turn it on, bear with me. Is there anything inappropriate coming up? Oh, can't bloody see a thing. Okay. Skype chat. How's that? Anything? No. How's that? Anything? No. Is that working? Is that?
Not sure.
No, no one could see anything. Nobody can see anything. What are you doing, you mad fool? Skype. Okay, now Skype chat. Skype on. Skype on. Okay, this is exactly how it should work in the real world.
Yeah.
If I hang on, okay. Maybe I need to do another window. Let's try. I do this one. Now, Skype play. I command you, work. I beseech thee, O God of internet. How's this one? No. I think it just doesn't like me. I normally just works. For some bizarre reason. Yes. Okay. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to share my monitor. Okay. Let me drag all of the other windows that have all of the keys. Okay. So all of the keys that I normally have displayed are on the other window. Skype is Microsoft, so you must invoke the power of Microsoft gods for it to work.
Oh yeah.
Yes, nobody
makes sense.
All right, so display capture on. Okay, how's this, everyone? This is better, isn't it? So now I'm sharing my entire.
Here we go.
Here we go. So what we're seeing now is I'm getting vibes from from a Blade Runner.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's like I tried to recreate that caustic stairs scene as Love was going up the stairs to like meet the I can't remember his name. Yeah, you get the point. It also, I think, does it have the animator? Yeah, so if I hit play, it also animates as if it's following like the Love as it was going up the stairs. Like that scene.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you know? And you know what's really, really, really scary about this?
Yeah.
This is the built-in shader render, the shader thing.
Oh yeah, and there's like besides the caustic thing, nothing is custom here. I mean, no, I don't even use Aura. I mean, I have the components here, but I'm not actually using them. I was trying stuff around. This is like built-in, no special stuff, like standard shader, like the roughness setup that's called Autodesk Interactive for some reason. Yeah, just baked lighting, like real-time lighting. So you have this nice bouncing, which is cool. And yeah, just like the caustics.
That's crazy though. You shouldn't be able to do this kind of stuff with normal Unity though, should you? Because everyone says normal Unity, can't be pretty. That's why they're doing HDRP.
I know, right? Well, I mean, yeah, it's all about, I don't know, playing around with what you have and having some good sense of direction. I can't say that I have a good sense of art direction, but yeah, I'm trying at least.
I noticed that you've got some other little tools on your in your Unity instance. So do you want to have just a quick explanation of your workflow, of what tools you use and how you work?
For like these kind of scenes I'm making, right? Like the smaller experiments and all that. Yeah, well, I mean, it depends. Like here, for example, I've used a lot of Pro Builder to actually set up the whole scene. So if like I turn everything off, you can see that it's just cubes, really, like Pro Builder cubes and stairs and all that. It is kind of important to try and keep some realistic measurements. So like this is like, okay, 3 meters. No, sorry, 2 meters. No, I'm not, like 6 meters, yeah, on the X. So it's like kind of realistic, kind of. But yeah, well, one thing I did a lot when I started off is that I started like with a cube, right? And because it was when it's at 0.0.0, it's like 10 units away from the camera. So sometimes instead of bringing it closer, I just scaled it up and then made everything scaled up to match that scale. And so everything was off, right? So, I mean, as long as you keep in mind that the cube is like 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter, you can have a good sense, a better sense at least of the real life measurements, which is apparently important for real-time lighting as well, for like baked lighting and all that. So besides that, usually I start with a simple setup. Like for example, I have something else here which is more nature-like. Let me see. I think it's called red something something. By the way, if you see any scene that you like that like captures your eye.
Well, first thing, I'm like looking at your scene explorer.
Oh yeah, that's a small custom tool just to, like lists all my scenes.
Well, that's lovely.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to do basically, but it's called because it's automatic and like you can do stuff like select the scene file actually and add it to the build and make it active or disabled on the build. Yeah, stuff like that.
That is cool. So you just made that yourself to make your life a little bit easier?
Yeah, I made it a while back. And yeah, well, right now it's not as functional because I have around 180 scenes, if I remember correctly. Word. Yeah, I told you, this is like my humongous playground project. And I can't remember, I think it's called Red something. Come on. Okay, whatever, I'll just go here. Yeah, that's also a nice scene. That's actually the thumbnail. That's cool. So, like for scenes like this, my process is just like start with the terrain, put some trees down. This, by the way, the trees are made with M3. I don't know.
Yeah, I was
gonna. Familiar? Yeah.
We've that was also in a bundle. M3 was in a bundle, and I was chatting to the developer of M3 a while back, trying to get them to come on to the stream as well. Yeah. So, I've been told that sometimes trees that are made with things like M3 can be a bit problematic in using them with other assets, getting picked up as we played about with vegetation engine the other day, and there was it can be a little bit problematic with that, and also with Veg Studio. What experiences have you had with your M3, or is it literally just making trees to put into your demos?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I haven't had any problems with M3. I'm just using the Unity terrain system. So since M3 generates prefabs that are like they work like Unity's trees with all the LODs and the billboards and all that. For me, they just work. And the cool thing is that they also work really great with my custom shaders. Like the leaf shader here is actually a custom one of mine. So yeah, had
That is very
really
pretty.
good experience with it. Oh, thank you.
That is very pretty. So, are you able to show us your leaf, just what your leaf shader looks like?
Like in code?
Yeah. Are we allowed to see?
Yeah, of course. I think I have actually shared it. I think I have. I think it's this one. Let me see. Yeah, I think that's the one. Actually, I mean, there's a easier way to see that. I think it's called orange leaves. Yeah, that one. Yeah, it's that one. All right. Yeah. I can zoom in too.
Oh yeah, I was about to say if you could, because I'm getting old and my eyesight is getting terrible.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. This is a surface shader, right? So that means that it basically abstracts all the stuff that's going on behind the scenes when it comes to lighting and shadows and all that, which is really neat and not existent in the URP or Hdrp, and I want that, but they don't have that.
Are they going to have it? Is this something that's coming?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Well, shader graph basically does that. When you're making a lit graph in shader graph, you're basically doing exactly that. But URP actually supports fragment and vertex shader, like shader files, written ones. But it doesn't support the surface shader because it does all that stuff under the hood that's not compatible with the SRPs. So yeah, but Hdrp doesn't even support the fragment vertex shaders. They're handwritten ones. So yeah. Yeah, you see my frustration.
I can really sense it. I can imagine your face scrunching into a ball as you're talking now.
Yeah, and I mean, this is basically my gripe with every node-based shader everywhere. It's like how difficult it is to do this. Like if I was using a node-based system right now, I would have to basically delete one node, create a new node, and then connect two inputs and one output to the original nodes. Which, by the way, in shader graph, if your graph is like big enough, each connection can make you wait until like 10 seconds.
Really?
Like on my PC at least, and with really big graphs, or like not really even that big, but fairly big graphs. If you are connecting something that's going directly to the output, it's going to make you wait for like, I've counted even 10 seconds. And God forbid if you undo at any point.
Wow.
Yeah. And I mean, who uses undo when making shaders or code at any point, right? So yeah,
you're really making me scared. I've never touched the shader graph. I haven't even opened up a window. To tell you the truth, I have played about with shaders in the code on the built-in, but literally it's just to tweak things for aura, or I actually made a shader for my character creator, Messi's ultimate character creator Muck, and I really enjoyed playing about. But I tell you this, Harry, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I was just randomly typing in things until they worked.
Oh yeah, well that's how I started as well. I mean, I still do sometimes. That's how you end up with. I don't have any weird lines here, but like I end up with weird lines using sine and frac and a whole bunch of different calculations, and I'm just randomly change the signs of numbers until things work. So like that's a really common practice for me.
So I look at the stuff that like Freya does. She's made shapes recently, and we had her on the stream a little while ago. And Freya's like a genius, and
yes, she's amazing.
I was saying like you got to be a maths genius to understand shaders, and even Freya's like I'm not a genius, and like that's what geniuses say. They always say I'm not that clever. I'm just a rocket scientist or a brain surgeon. I just created a time machine. I'm not that clever.
Yeah, people have done better.
How do you need to be good at maths and know all of these crazy math equations and know what algebra is and know who Pythagoras was to be able to do shaders?
Yes and no. Like, hear me out. Okay, there's a lot of math behind it, right? But the good thing is that a lot of the math that you have to deal with, in at least on the surface level of shaders, is the cool kind of math that you can actually see and that you can actually easier understand. Like, for example, I mean, here there's the most like bare bones lighting things you can find when it comes to shader, which is just like a dot product, right? Like you have vectors and all that, and what this is telling you basically is that hey, if my surface is looking towards the light source, then this is one almost. Well, not. Yeah. Well, see, I'm confused now as well, but like not exactly one, but you can understand that you can basically explain this weird math concept, the dot product of two vectors, as which way am I facing it. So it's more intuitive than one could probably expect. So yeah.
So there's hope for me, is what you're saying.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm not really good at math either. I mean, yeah, like this is probably my peak. I mean, when I see some graphics papers that have like integrals in there, I'm like, nope.
Like, show me your most basic shader that you've done. Like, the hello world of your shaders.
That's a good question. Let's see. I mean, as you can imagine, I have a lot of shaders in here. So this might take a bit of searching. The hello world of shaders. I mean, usually that is like a dissolved shader. I have some here. Yeah, that looks like a good example. All right. I probably already have like one material in there either way. Like my workflow is a bit destructive, honestly, because I use a lot of materials here and there. And then I change their properties and the textures and all that, so they're changed also in other scenes.
That's why I do it. Go back. Why does it look so different? Oh, when you change it, it changes for everyone. Okay, I understand now. All right.
Yeah.
Make 50 versions of the same one then.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I also have a lot of materials in there as well. So this doesn't actually seem like it's mine. Whoops. So no, I don't even have one here. This could work. No. Well, yeah. You know what? This can work. Let's see. Yeah. This is a simple shader. All right. This is technically like it's still a dissolved shader. I'm saying it's for particles, but it doesn't make any difference actually. Yeah. Yeah, like if I use like any noise texture here, yeah, it's dissolving, all right.
Oh, that's pretty. We've just been attacked by bots. We've just we've just been double attacked. We got attacked. Oh, we got triple attacked. We've been attacked by 3 wannabe famous bots at the same time. That's brilliant. Well done.
Wow. Yeah. That's great.
Could you make a shader for handling bots who spam us? So every time a bot comes and spams us, it makes a nice pretty effect.
Huh. That could require a lot of like coding on the backside. Yeah, because shaders are stupid. They don't know where they're at or what's happening around them. They're just like living in the moment,
I love that. I love the idea that a shader lives in the moment. It doesn't get weighed down in the anxieties of existential thinking. It just lives in the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Goes with the flow.
Yeah, it's all in GPU, and GPU cores don't know what they're doing at one point, what they did before, what they will do after that. I mean, they're just vibing, really.
Shader YOLO. I love it. Shader YOLO. Wizard Uncode's put a link in chat. Thank you, Wizard. Is this the Android shader editor discussed earlier?
Let me see. No, that looks cool. I think I've tried it. That's not the one. Oh, it's by Marcus Fish. I remembered it. Shader editor. Wait, I will link the shader.
Marcus Fish.
Fish.
I'm editing a shader and the code is overlaid on the results. Very cool. Oh. Very cool.
Oh, wow. Why am I not signed in? God damn it.
There you go. What's that? Widget browsers.
Oh, well, I'm...
No thanks. Just had... would you like to... Hang on. Widget browser.
I sent it over on Skype because I'm not logged in Twitch apparently.
You're not logged into the Twitch?
Yeah, I thought I was, but apparently
Where's my
I'm not.
+1, Harry? Where's my +1? How am I going to get to 1,000 live viewers?
I know. I have no excuse. Oh, now it sent me a code.
The Marcus Fish one is open source. Win. I was about to say, whichever one is open source is the one that Wizard Uncode is going to go for. Is there a big open source community loving the built-in Shapervite? Are they? Because I imagine it calls out for that kind of open source collaboration.
Yeah, probably. I mean,
because you give your stuff away for free on your website, which is like the definition of open. You know, it's so open, you're just giving it out there.
Yeah, well, it's because it's like such a niche thing that people also have trouble with, and it's been described as black magic so many times.
It is black magic. It is the work of the devil.
Yeah. Oh, this is the one you already published. Yeah. Yeah. Wait, what? I have to ask for permission. I'm sorry.
That's all right. There we go. I'll paste that into.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and like there's also a big scene around VJing, so there's a lot of shaders in there as well. So like there's a lot of there's a big community factor when it comes to shader, really, whether it's in games or like on creative coding, because it's like such a fun thing.
Thank you for that, Bit Gaming. So we're back in sharing your screen.
Yeah.
I thought that said frog, but it says frag.
Yeah. Yeah, that stands for fragment, or basically the pixel that ends up in your screen, really, or technically the area that the pixel pretty much occupies. So this is called like the fragment shader, or in other environments you might see it as the pixel shader, which is, well, what like the final stage before you actually get the color that ends up on your screen, right? This, on the other hand, is like the vertex shader, which is some steps before the fragment shader, and it just deals with the vertices of the geometry of your 3D object. Because here we're in Unity and we basically write shaders for, this is a shader that goes on an object, right? So we care about its geometry and its vertices and all that stuff. It's not like it's just on the screen where we really don't care about triangles and faces and all that. So here you have some stuff that concerns the vertices of the mesh, and it passes that information onto this object, a V2F object, which is defined here, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, that's why it's confusing, I know. But yeah, the fragment shader basically takes that object with the information that it got from the vertex shader and uses it in different ways, basically. So, for example, the UV coordinates, if you're familiar with like 3D objects and all that, the UVs are stored in the vertices. like each vertex basically has a position and it has maybe a color and it has the UV coordinates to basically map the texture on it. So the Fragment Shader will take these coordinates and can sample a texture with that.
I'm starting to understand this a little bit, but just like Ankri saying in chat, shader code might as well be frogs and newts to me. It would be just as understandable. I get what you're saying, but you're starting to make me understand. So yeah, change it to frogs and newts. There you go.
So yeah, that will work. So yeah,
frogs and newts.
Yeah, should still work. Oh, by the way, because this project is huge, it's eating up all of my RAM. I actually have to make a new playground project. So yeah, don't be alarmed if you see a lot of these small green bars.
These are the green bars you're looking for. Solved it, yeah. Says Ankri. Well done. See, now it's frogs and newts. You should actually start a Udemy course or something, because you explain things really well.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. The reason for that is probably because I'm not a smart man, all right? So especially when it came to shaders, I basically dumbed it out for me, made it as easy and understandable as I could by breaking it down just so that I could understand it. So then it's easier for me to, like transfer that to other people so they can understand the concepts. So yeah. Though I'm not sure if well, thank you. He says I sound very smart. It's because of the accent.
In my defense, I didn't say you sounded very smart. I said you were able to explain things clearly.
Not yet. Dumb V Cool said that I sounded smart.
So I beg to disagree. Sounds very smart. Well, Dan V Cool also said earlier that you seem cool, but not as cool as Dan V Cool. So you can take the things that Dan V Cool says with a pinch of salt.
That's okay. Yeah, that's understandable. So yeah. By the way, I'm not actually considering maybe making a Udemy course. I mean, it could be interesting and a nice income source and all that.
You should do. I mean, everyone likes an income.
Yeah, of course. But to be honest, when I started off, I didn't really have a lot of non-paid shader resources, and I don't want to take that away from other people starting up as well. So that's why I insisted on giving everything away for free. I mean, I don't even have ads on my blog, which I mean that it's not like people would pay, to get rid of the ads or whatever, but. I personally don't feel good taking money from people to share knowledge.
Well, especially you're not even doing it on Patreon or anything like that.
Oh, I do have a Patreon, but that's because that's entirely, voluntarily. And the perks I also give to my patrons, to be honest, are not that great in the sense that I don't give them exclusive access to stuff that other people don't have.
But do you send them pictures of yourself? There's a picture of you eating a kebab, smiling at the camera.
I mean, I could add a tier like that. I mean, if people are interested, yeah, absolutely.
Do you know what you should do? Just in complete sincerity, you need to have a tier called "You Get Harry's Food," right? Updates. So Chinese people take pictures of their food and they stick them on the internet. Do the same kind of thing, right? So if you on the top tier on the Patreon, when Harry goes to a cafe, ching ching, there's a picture. This is what I'm drinking today, and this is what I'm eating. Would you like a frappe? I like one, and here's my picture of a frappe. Well, there you go. I think that'd be awesome, because then that leads into people go, oh, wouldn't it be interesting to do a shader like the smoke coming off of your nice Greek coffee?
Yeah, potentially that could be interesting, though first of all, we don't have cafes anymore. So there's that.
That's true.
Yeah. And also, my day-to-day life is so boring, especially the stuff I eat and drink. So, yeah, I mean, at least, people could, donate for that tier for at least, a month and then get disappointed. So, yeah, maybe that could be viable for a while.
I think it would work. Ankri's asking, how do you feel about shaders in the context of the HDRP? So I think that rather than HDRP in itself, but shaders in HDRP.
Yeah, well, in Hdrp, again, like there's not even the option for 100 and fragment and vertex shaders. It's all basically made with shader graph.
So are you restricted? Sorry, in the HDRP that you can only use shader graph. You can't do anything by hand anymore.
Yep.
So there's no option whatsoever to delve into the code.
Well, you can actually see the generated code from the shader graph, but it's well, as you know, everything, every like code that's generated from node-based tools is not very readable. So firstly, there's that, and secondly, it because I've opened a lot of like generated shaders, especially in Hdrp. There's a lot of defines and multiple passes, and it's a mess. Like it's not really easy to do stuff by hand.
So
I mean, maybe I could try, but I haven't. But it seems really complex.
I think it'd be fun. It'd be a fun experiment for you to play about with.
Yeah, man.
What about things like Amplify Shader?
As far as I know, I think Amplify does have support for. It does have for URP. I'm not sure if it has for HDRP as well. Let me see. I think it does. I haven't used it, but I think that it is a way better experience. Yeah, it does have HDRP support.
Yes, you can even easily convert from URP to HDRP very easily with Amplify. If you made your shader with Amplify, you can just go from one pipeline to another. You can go from built-in to HDRP and back again, as long as you made it. We had them on chat. Unfortunately, when they were on, I was having internet problems and computer problems at the time, so we lost most of that interview, unfortunately, really frustratingly. So I want to get them back on, and in 2021 they'll be coming back on, and hopefully by then I'll make sure I'm guaranteed not to have any problems. Ankry says, I opened up what I thought was a simple shader made in the shader graph. It was about 8,000 lines.
That's accurate, yeah.
And I think the phrase "not exactly readable" is a bit of an understatement.
Yeah. Well, firstly, when it comes to the Amplify, yeah, it's an amazing tool as far as I've seen, and I'm kind of baffled that Unity hasn't acquired them yet. I mean, yeah, their node-based editor is probably way better than shader graph, at least than what it is at the moment.
I asked them that question when they were on the stream, and I think that there were some discussions, but Unity decided to go down their own route of making their own one in the end, which it's confusing. But in the past, Unity tried to get Freya to join.
Yeah,
Unity,
I think I know.
When Freya was doing the
Shader Forge.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And Freya turned them down. I think from that, it kind of maybe they got a little bit nervous. I don't know about going into another relationship for shaders, and decided to go do their own. But bizarrely, they've done that before, where they were started to do their own networking, and in the end, they decided to hire 210, who made ML API, and just make that one the new official Unity networking system instead of making their own. So they've had previous where they've admitted, you know what, our one that we've been making isn't really that good. Let's just buy one off the shelf and pretend it's ours. You know, they've done it before. There's no reason why they can't admit defeat and say, you know what, our shader graph not as good as the guys next door. Exactly. Dev courses like Bolt. So they were doing their own visual scripting, and instead they went, you know what, we'll just buy Bolt instead, because again,
or with Plastic, with the source control thing. I don't know if you heard of that.
Oh no, I haven't. That's another one. They bought that, did they?
Yeah, they bought I think it was a startup. I think it's called Plastic, and it's basically it's a bit like Perforce. source control, and yeah.
So what? Why would you use that instead of Git? We're deviating here from the plot, but that's interesting.
Yeah.
2 months ago they got CSM plastic.
Yeah, that's well.
So does that mean that we don't have to use GitHub or Git or Perforce, so we can just be using that?
Yeah, and it has like also on the asset store, I think it has like a plugin that directly communicates with a Plastic client, and it seemed pretty good actually.
Well, of course, it makes perfect sense to now abandon any system that is being used by other, engines and go all into a Unity specific one, and not be able to transfer that knowledge into another system afterwards. That is exactly what I'm going to do right now.
Yeah.
I was deciding, what should I learn? Should I start using Git properly and learn how to use it, or should I start learning this Perforce stuff? And now there's another option on the table that I'm not going to learn either. So much like me not learning shaders, there's more things for me not to learn.
Yeah, well, that's always good. I mean, learning is hard.
Learning is hard. I like that.
Yeah.
Right, let's pop back inside your Unity because you've shown us these newts and frogs.
Yeah.
So give me another cool project that you've been playing about with.
Let's see. Well, the last one I did that I was actually really happy with. God damn it! Don't say whatever.
Ooh, those raindrops.
Yeah. It's actually like an adaptive. I mean, it basically understands the slope of the of the surface, and like it toggles between ripples, like rain ripples like that, and streaks.
Ooh.
Like this. So like you can see that actually that when it's going like this, you see.
No.
Yeah. And
wow.
This also specifically is like a glass variant, which is like transparent, while this is just like opaque, and also has a bit of refraction. So this may not be visible here, but if I turn this up a bit, you can see that it's refracting what's behind it. Yeah, and I actually did like one of my most recent scenes took advantage of that.
I even saw this picture on your Twitter with the switch on the window ledge.
Yeah, it has so many details that nobody ever saw. But yeah. By the way, this is.
Is this your bedroom?
No, not at all. But I've actually used this interior again in another scene, which is here.
Is the Slender Man going to come out now?
No, it's just like a small moody scene. Really, it's nothing scary. And I've actually used Bakery for
I love Bakery.
Yeah, it's so good. I mean, yeah, for interior scenes like that, Bakery is
now
amazing.
I know that you love watching my VODs of my interviews, but if you go and you search, put exclamation mark YouTube in chat, exclamation mark Twitch, or obviously we're in Twitch, you can find the VOD of where I interviewed the creator of Bakery as well. So
that's cool.
There's an interview with Frank on the YouTube and on the Twitch. So there you go. Yet another reason to watch the old VODs. So when you click play now, on this, what are we gonna? Where's the camera?
Well, there will be some motion here, and also there's some particles. Yeah, for the lights. I mean, by the way, because it's always fun to see the behind the scenes. Yeah, like it's just.
These are the smoke and mirrors to make it look
real.
I love that. Oh wow.
These are not even showing, by the way. I mean, because there's a lot of fog and again, a lot of aura stuff, and it's kind of hiding that. So I mean, yeah, whether they're there or not, I mean, they don't show that well.
Angry saying you just need some lo-fi music. I'm going to go one step further. If you pulled the camera back a touch and put a Christmas tree in that corner there by the window, so you had the Christmas tree with the rain falling on the window behind it, and some like Christmas music playing. That would be awesome. That is, you know.
Yeah, there's even like a small cup of tea here.
Is there smoke coming off the tea?
Of course there is, yeah.
Is that herbal tea? What is it?
It's nothing.
It's
really.
It's an empty cup.
It's just a really hot cup that's steaming. That doesn't have anything.
It's a steaming cup of nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
This is so beautiful. So that that's the one that you showed us a second ago, where if you now rotated that glass plane, it would turn into the splats rather than the drips.
Yeah, exactly. So I can do it. Doesn't make a lot of sense in this scene, but yeah, see.
Oh, that is amazing. Well, no, it makes perfect sense because the guy's the windows. It's Christmas, so John McClane's going to come through that window any moment.
Yeah.
By the way, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. To anyone who ever debates the fact, of course it's a Christmas movie.
Of course it's a Christmas movie. Come on.
Would the rain shader be practical to use in a large outdoors environment? Curious about performance. Like if you had a lot of buildings, a lot of windows with this shader on, would it be feasible to use this?
Well, if it would be like for a lot of windows and all that, it would probably be a good idea because if you're far away, you won't see all that detail, right?
Yeah.
It would probably be a good idea to like switch to a simpler variant or something, or like swap the LODs altogether. And the thing is that it's not a very costly shader because it's mostly texture sampling, but it's a lot of texture sampling. Like there's a lot of textures, which are also sampled multiple times, both for the variety and because this is also triplanar. So it doesn't matter, like, okay, the roughness map is not triplanarly mapped, so that you see it changes, but the streaks and the drops don't change because they're actually mapped in world space. So, like, I have to sample, like, these 4 textures 4 times each, basically.
So the expense is the textures. That's the most expensive thing about this.
Yeah, generally sampling textures is a bit expensive. So yeah, you generally don't want to sample a lot of times and a lot of textures. Things could probably be simplified here. Here's the thing: if you have a lot of textures that are like one channel, like this like a single channel texture, right? I mean, red, green, and blue all have the same information. You could pack some textures together. I didn't do that here because I was playing around trying different textures, so I wasn't sure that I was going to use this texture, because if I were, I could potentially combine it with this texture and so on and so forth. So there's that. But also there's the problem of, like, these streaks move while these like condensation droplets don't move. So they would have to be sampled separately either way. So there are like some limitations like that.
You don't really notice those limitations, do you? I mean, dude, it's so beautiful. And you give this away for free? Is that what you're saying?
Well, this one, no, I haven't really released
you need to make some stuff as assets on the asset store.
Yeah, I have thought of that. I have thought of that. Well, firstly, I have a very severe case of imposter syndrome when it comes to how production ready my stuff.
Oh no, don't worry. Everyone does. And you know what? I've put myself off releasing anything on the asset store for a long time, and then somebody reminded me that I've reviewed over 100 different assets now, and I've interviewed over 100 different. I've done about 120 live dev interviews now. Every single person who I interview, it has some form of imposter syndrome. Even the people who have been in AAA studios or worked on like blockbuster movies. Everyone has an element of imposter syndrome, and you will always find assets that you look at them and you think to yourself, were Unity on drugs when they accepted this on the asset store? How on earth is this? And we saw one recently that I can't remember who it was that posted on the Discord. There were 3 daggers. Okay, there's 3 daggers, 3 separate assets. Okay, these are 3 daggers. Those 3 assets. Okay, the only difference is the color on the handle. Wow. So it's the same materials, the same tech, everything, and they probably just moved the slider up to green and went, oh yeah, that's a green one. Let's move the slider onto blue. That's the blue one. Okay, you need to do something that's a little bit different. All right, go into Photoshop and save it as blue, Kevin, and just stick it in there. All right, done. And like $30 per dagger. It's almost as good as the Turbo Squid door. There was the open door, the closed door, the door slightly open, and the door even more slightly open. Wow. Each of those were a separate asset. Sengoku says those blades were only $6. Awesome. I think the doors were about $25 each at the time. Yeah. So there's a lot of rubbish out there on the store. So don't worry, your stuff would be perfect for the asset store. So don't worry about it. By which I mean, take that as you wish. But it's obviously if you're going to sell this for $50 or you're going to give it away for free, has a huge difference on what people expect. But I have noticed people give 1-star reviews for free assets. It's a free asset. Why do you give a 1-star review? It's crazy.
Yeah, no, I know that there's a lot of weird stuff on the asset store as well. Though, I mean, for Shader specifically, I would much rather make a tutorial and give the Shader away, like for people to actually learn maybe something from it.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you this, right?
Yeah.
Do your tutorial, but you can also put the shader on the asset store as a free asset. I mean, it doesn't have to be a paid shader. You can put the shade for free on the asset, and it also helps you to get exposure that way, because basically think of the Unity Asset Store as a great marketing tool, and in addition to that, it helps you get experience publishing on the asset store. So you don't have to sell it. You don't have to charge people money if you're still not comfortable of charging people money, but you can still publish it on the asset store as a free shader.
Yeah, that could potentially work. Yeah, well, I'm actually considering maybe actually going with VFX route on the asset store and maybe like create some VFX packs for it, because I mean they're always useful and it's fun to make VFX.
They are always useful. And Angry says, if you do the tutorials and give the shaders away individually on the blog, then publish them as a bundle on the asset store.
Yeah, that could work as well.
Angry also wants me to interview anyone who's done those dodgy assets where they've done the same asset 5 times. That would make a really... Do you know what? I would invite them in and do the interview normal, and then like a good while into the interview, I'll turn around and go, so why do you make the same asset 20 times and charge people for the same asset? And then see the reaction. Go, what do you mean? Ha! I got you now. There's no escape. And they've just hung up the phone. I forgot they can hang up the phone. Okay, I didn't think that through.
Such a big gotcha moment, though.
Look, I want this. I really do. This is amazing. I'm in love with your rainy window. It is amazing. It is so beautiful, so simple to in what it and how it looks, but it's so perfect.
Oh yeah, thank you. I actually initially I had like a different one. I have it actually here. This is an older version. No, skip that. An older version of it, which is not as good looking, by the way, and it's not adaptive. It's just like the flat thing. So it's not reacting if it's rotated and all that. So yeah, and like there's a old client of mine that saw that I shared this and basically told me that they wanted another shader that's adaptive and has like the streaks and all that. So basically, I worked on the other one as like a gig for them, really. But I still wanted to use it for personal projects and scenes and all that.
Well, it's great when you do one to start to experiment and learn. You get paid for the second one, and then the third one you do it for yourself.
Yeah, pretty much.
I love that. I love that. That's brilliant. And yes, there's another painting effect that's available in the assets, which is pretty much individual asset of different painting effects for like $25, whatever they are each. There's a lot of people out there, man, that are doing crazy things, and you'd really be at home on the assets, and also then that you'd get that invited to the special asset publishers club that they invite people to. There's lots of benefits to joining. And thank you so much for putting the exclamation mark Harry in chat. So if you haven't yet gone to Alisavakis' website, then stick it in. I'm also going to, let me quickly go over to his Twitter account and paste Harry's Twitter into the chat as well. So if you haven't followed him yet, follow him on the Twitter, because you need to have some Harry in your life. If you don't have enough Harry in your life, then really, I feel sorry for you, because you haven't yet lived. If you hadn't got enough Harry, and I don't think there's ever enough Harry in my life. Now that I've seen your amazing shaders, there's another asset on the asset store that I've always been confused by. We've actually had him on the stream before. So if I go to it's RTP. It's actually you can't even find it that way. It's how the heck does anyone remember how you find RTP? Because you can't search for it. RT is it? You have to search for it as individual. There it is. You have to search for it as the individual letters. So if you do R space T space P, then it works. It's crazy. Wow. So have you seen Thomas's Relief Terrain pack?
Not sure.
It's a classic. It's like the first proper shader asset that was out there. I think it was the first proper shader asset on the asset store. The Relief Terrain pack. So if you can see my stream, it's on there now. So this came out. When did it come out? Releases. No, it wasn't original. 2012. So it came out in 2012, and before then, nobody was doing any shader magic. And then Thomas came along and basically was like, you know what, Unity sucks. Let's improve the terrain system. Have you not played about with this?
Sorry, what that asset? Or
yeah, this asset.
No, I mean I might have seen it somewhere, but it could be like a while ago.
Oh, then definitely you need to do this. So I'm going to start now a raffle. Let's give away a copy of RTP, because we're talking shader. Do you like how I'm doing this segue into gifts that are shader related, Harry?
Oh yeah.
It's not just random stuff. Everything has some kind of link to shaders.
Well, yeah.
It's genius. It's almost like I planned it, I have to say. So if I start, I'm going to start. Hang on a second. I've got to click the bloody button. Hang on. My fingers are getting so old. Okay. So exclamation mark raffles in the chat if you want to grab hold of these. Let me pop back in. So if we pop back into Unity, your Skype view that we had. So if I wanted to have this kind of rain effect. How hard is it would it be to learn this, to do this? I mean, could I just have you got your original one on your website that I could just look at the code and copy it?
No, well, I have like this one, which is like the simpler version, not the one I made for the client. So really, it's all about like basically knowing your tool set and getting the proper tools for it, really. So I mean, my approach for this and for the other one as well, like on the horizontal configuration at least, is pretty simple. So you have this normal map, right? Like the default Ripple normal. And what you do is basically you can create a grid where you just sample this texture a bunch of times. So you can imagine that there's a huge grid with a lot of cells where each cell has this Ripple normal on it, right?
I'm understanding you so far. See, this is why I told you about being a good teacher, because everything you said so far, I can understand, I can follow.
Yeah, actually, you can see that the bigger Ripple ones are all in the same line.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's the same for the y-axis as well. So this actually has like 2 layers, and I think I can actually maybe. Oh wow, I have like this huge line here. God. Okay. Let me turn on the wrapping at least. So okay, let's get rid of these. Yeah. Alright. Okay. So this will get rid of the smaller ones and will keep just the larger one. And you can see that they're actually on a grid pattern. Okay, so let's actually dissolve more of the illusion here.
Ooh. Don't forget, we've got a raffle going on, ! Raffle, if you want to win a copy of RTP. Oh, so now it's just pulses all of them all at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. So what I did basically is, okay, you have this mask. This is what is making it. Wait, no, that's not what's making it grow like this. But I can't find which is because this is an older code. Oh, I've called it offset. Okay, yeah. So this is it as well. So you know what? Let's get rid of the mask as well.
So now it's just going to go plop, 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 plop.
So no. Yeah. This is doing this now. Okay. Sorry. Then I also wanted to. Okay. Yeah. I don't care about that. Oh, sorry. I wanted to get rid of all of this. Okay. I was confused there for a bit. Okay, so now...
Don't worry, I'm always confused.
Yeah, so now it's starting. Now you can see that it's a grid. Okay, so yeah, one thing I did was basically masking it out so it does this, where it appears and disappears. This is also like not as good as the other one because this is actually the... like the inverse result of what we want. You would expect that when a drop falls, it expands and not like shrink.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, this is technically wrong, but who cares?
Nobody notices when they're playing the game, though. They don't go, hang on a minute, why are my puddles not expanding? What's going on?
Yeah, exactly. And, only real weird guys like me would notice stuff like that in games. So yeah,
when an obsession is this pretty, it has to be passion.
Oh yeah, exactly. There's a lot of passion and a lot of obsession in me. So yeah. So okay, so it's doing that. So all I have to do basically is just offset the time for each cell. So as I actually have this grid of basically smaller UVs where I sample this Ripple normal, I can basically take a random number using this function, which is just like a classic shader pseudo-random function, which is funny because it's just like a sine wave with some huge numbers. It's like that silly. And yeah, if you actually pass in this rounded texture coordinates, it basically creates. Actually, I can show you this.
Show us. We just got pointed out that when you delete things, like just now, you had a little special effect going on your editor. And Ankri's going to bed. Ankri says, I'll have to be stalking your Twitter and your blog until I see this pretty shader published in some form. Exactly. I think everyone's going to be stalking you until they can get their hands on your ripply, rainy trickle effects. Ankri, thank you for popping in tonight, buddy. Have a good night, mate.
Have a good night. So yeah, you can see that you have also some random values per cell. So, you know, if you use these random numbers and offset the time that you use for that, for like the movement, the fading in and out of the ripples, you basically offset their motion, so it looks as if they're moving independently. So
as everything with game development, it's all about the illusion of the effect that you want to create.
Yeah, like especially in shaders, it's really about finding, if you're not going totally physically correct, it's all about finding, you know, how to convey that effect that you want. It's really impressionistic.
So it really is Andy Warhol's "This is not a can of soup."
No, I mean,
this is not really rain. This is actually a computer effect on your screen. You're not really outside in the rain, so no matter what you do, it's never going to be real because you're not really getting wet.
Yeah, either way, it's all smoke and mirrors. So, you know, you just add more smoke and more mirrors to, you know, even sell the illusion even more. So yeah,
I love it.
Here, for example, I break up the pattern by adding smaller ripples, so now it's not as visible. And also, by the way, there's some actual rain here, which is it this one? Yeah, it's raining, which is also, by the way, one of the shaders I really enjoyed because it's interesting. I mean, in some ways, it's not particles because having so many particles is expensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what is it?
Well,
is it just the texture animating and flipping about?
Oh no, they are very 3D and very like actual meshes.
Those are actual meshes?
Well, it's actually one mesh. Let me switch to standard. There we go. Here's the rain. It's a lot of triangles. Damn, it's not really visible. Like, okay, here we go. It's a lot of triangles that look like this. Here we go. Come on. All right, so just a bunch of a lot of triangles, right? I think here you can see it, but yeah.
Like one of those pin mattresses where they've put a load of needles pointing up and then you go lay down on them.
Yeah, like a fucker's bed, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's pretty much the same principle as the time offset of the ripples here. Basically, I've used a small tool somewhere, which I can actually no, I wrote it here in Unity, where I assign a random color to each triangle of the mesh, and I baked it to like a new mesh, really. And I use that random vertex color to offset the time of which like the mesh is going down, really. Because if I let's go back, okay, here, okay. So if I actually change this and use like the original rain mesh, which I think is this one. Yeah, you see that they're all falling together.
Oh yeah,
It's hard to see it, but
it feels like lightning.
yeah, they're all falling together because they all have the same vertex color. But after I modified it and saved it as a different mesh, I used a different color as an offset to the time, so they fall separately. So yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Wow.
Let's have one more.
Flozon's following, and Flozon says, "So clever! I would never imagine rain without particles." Exactly. I mean, I've been doing having to use rain in my cyberpunk tutorials I'm doing, and they're very expensive, annoying particles, and it really kills performance. So I want this. Is this on your website? Can we download the guide on how to do this? And how can I get my hands on your rain?
That's not actually on my website. By the way, this is actually the simplest shader I have. I mean, it's just a surface shader and it does this. So
your rain is the simplest shader you have, yet it is spectacularly wonderful. And just before we play back with more, I'm just going to announce the winner. The winner of RTP is Wizards Don't Code. I would have sworn you've already got RTP, but Wizards Don't Code is probably going to give it away as a Christmas present to somebody. Wizards, hit me up. You have to speak up. You're a winner of RTP3. Congratulations, buddy. Congrats. What? He's going to give it to Shorties. You're going to give it to Shorties, aren't you? He's going to give it to someone as a present. I got you this as a Christmas present. Did you win it? Unless it goes to stream. No. I got it to you as a present. You won it, didn't you? I don't own it, believe it or not. Really? Well, that gets added to your collection, buddy. Congrats. In honor of Harry Alisavakis, you have won RTP. Right, I want your rain. I really do. I will give you one of my kidneys.
I mean, I can send it over or something. Though there is something to note here. That's also a fun glimpse into how things are rendered. If I move the camera right about here, the rain stops.
The rain stops.
Yeah.
How did you get this godlike power where you can turn the rain off?
I know, right? I'm just snapping my fingers. You can't hear it. Yeah. I mean, can you imagine why this happens?
Because the mesh is no longer in the view. I don't know. Because it's culling the. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, technically, you're right. The original mesh is this, and the bounding box, the bounds of the mesh are, like there. Yeah. So the way occlusion culling works is, when the bounds are no longer in the scene, you don't see anything of the mesh, even if the vertices of the mesh are displaced, because the bounds don't change.
So you just make your bounds look bigger.
Yeah. One silly way to actually fix this is basically when making like this mesh, you can also add like a single vertex like way down, so you have your bounds encapsulate that and then it can be like, like covering the whole area, so you don't get this culling thing.
Yeah, admit, send me the one with the really long vertex down the bottom when you're sending it to me.
Yeah. All right.
Oh my god. As it says, I want the rain. I will give Messi's other kidney. This says, I'll give Messi's other kidney. And again, I hope he doesn't have 3 kidneys. I hope he has 3 kidneys. Well, I hope I've got 3 kidneys too now, because it seems like everyone's giving away my kidneys to people.
Well, you'd need 4 though, because, I mean, if you wanted to live,
I was going to say you still need one for yourself, really. Unless,
I mean, yeah.
It's a very happy thought there, Harry. Who needs kidneys when you've got rain?
I know, right?
Oh, it is lovely, mate. It really is. And I know it's very late, so it's coming up to 2 o'clock in the morning for you. So I'm going to let you.
Oh wow, yeah.
I know. I'm going to let you get to bed. I did say to you I was going to keep you for 1 hour, and I've kept you for 2 hours instead because.
It's alright. It was fun. I mean, I didn't even notice.
There you go. I told you were going to have fun. I knew it. Did you have any alcohol though? Was this alcohol-free fun, or were you having sambuca or something?
No, I'm afraid I didn't have any alcohol. As it turns out, I just had some water.
What do you drink? What is your local tipple? Is it ouzo? What do you have over there?
Yeah, we have ouzo, which I don't actually like.
That aniseed joy that just tastes like medicine. Carry on.
Yeah. Well, we have other stuff like chipuro and raki, which basically are pure like jet fuel. You can't really, get a lot of flavor out of it. It's mostly just alcohol. Like
I tell you what, if you ever plan to go to Serbia, they pretty much do the same thing, but they flavored it. So it's they've got it like plum, and you can get lots of different flavors out of it.
Yeah, I think they have one. Can't remember the name. Which was a really good one. I think with hazelnut, or I could be confusing everything. Not sure.
So you wanna get yourself over there then? Go. It's only around the corner, isn't it? I mean, you've got Bulgaria right next to you, and then the Cuban gang, you've got Serbia. So it's not too far away.
I know, right? Yeah. Well, maybe when the world
goes back to normal, and we've all got the vaccine. And I tell you what, though, isn't life going to be interesting when everyone's got the vaccine, right? And Bill Gates is in control of all of us. So it's really going to be fun to see what Bill Gates gets up to when he's taken over control of the entire population of the planet.
Yeah, no, right. I just hope like they'll have some exposed API for all the microchips.
If you go to Bill Gates' website, his foundation's website, you can download the documentation for the API. For the
well, yeah, but Microsoft's documentation is so bad. So.
That's an argument. People are saying, I don't want Bill Gates to control me with mind control. Have you used any of his products? Of course, it's not going to work.
Yeah, the documentation is horrible. I mean, if Mozilla was planning to control everybody, with microchips in vaccines, they'd have some really good documentation.
Distant Temple says, didn't he try that in the 90s? He did try that, but he failed because the creator of Tetris beat him to it, and he already had taken mind control of everyone. And you know how I can prove it? Because anyone who played Tetris still remembers dun 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 dun. You remember Tetris? Are you young enough to remember Tetris? Hey?
Well, not the original. I'm too young for the original Tetris, but obviously I know Tetris.
Do you know what you should do as your next challenge? Yeah, a Tetris game with shaders only to create the pieces and move them.
You think that's not already done?
Seriously, someone's already done it.
I'm not. Well, I'm pretty sure. But you know what? People have made Doom in a shader.
No way.
Yeah. Well, if you search on Shader Toy, I don't know. You probably know Shader Toy, right?
No.
No.
I told you, shaders are black magic. My mum told me never do any devil worship in the house, so I don't do much shader stuff.
Yeah, mine said it too, but I don't listen to her. So I actually found it. I actually found it. Shader Toy is basically like a platform where you can create and share shaders, and my computer might freeze. I hope it doesn't.
Shader Toy. Yeah. Shader Toy is real fun. Has some really interesting stuff. Shader, thank you for the link. I'll just paste this into chat. So Shader Toy.
For example, this maybe people. Okay, maybe it's good that it was removed because people should not open that link preemptively.
Why? What happened?
Well, it's a shader that's running on your browser, and it's not light, so it would take a bit of time of loading.
Oh, okay.
So can I send a link or?
Yeah, I'll paste it into chat. You've got it. I can still see, even though the block removed you. Don't worry.
Okay.
So there it is. It's heavy. It is heavy. I'm blown away every time I open Shader Toy. So everyone in the world knows about Shader Toy apart from me, it seems.
Yeah, well, yeah. So if you go to Shader there, you will get a lot of like inferiority complex when it comes to your shader abilities, because what people do there, like what you see, for example, right there on the stream, is pure GLSL. So there's no geometry anywhere. Everything is like ray masked and ray traced and path traced, and I don't know what else.
That's freaky.
Yeah, especially if you looked into IQ's Inigo Quillet, which is actually the creator of Shader Toy.
I'm going to do. I'm going to do it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's entirely in shaders. Like there are no textures in there. There's no models. There's no maps. It's all code.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like Irish John Cave is just coming to the Sunday stream. You've just come in as we're going to bed, Irish. You come in just as we're going to bed. We've been seeing some amazing stuff. Do you know what? Irish John's just popped in. Harry, can you show your other rain one? Hang on, first of all, let me go back in and show your rain. Here we go. So
this one, right?
Yeah. So Irish, actually, show us this, and then just show me the other one again. This is black magic. Okay, Irish, look at this. Look at the window. Are you looking at the window?
Later.
Are you looking at the window? Okay. This is why we don't move over to URP and HDRP.
Like also there's the adaptive stuff.
Look at that! Look! What? Look! This is using shaders. Do you know what shaders are? They're magic. Oh my god, amazing! I know, isn't that amazing? And if you thought that was amazing, wait until show your put the raindrops in. You know your rain mesh. Throw your main mesh in the bedroom. Can you throw it in the bedroom? No, can't throw it in the bedroom. That'd be crazy. This rain, okay, Irish. This rain is not using particles. Okay, it's not using particles. It's crazy.
So just one mess.
Very impressed. I know! Exclamation mark Harry in chat. Forget Harry Potter's magic. It's nothing compared to what Harry Alisavakis can get up to. And he doesn't need a magic wand. And he hasn't got a special friend called Dumbledore who visits him at night and tells him to do things. No, he doesn't. Doesn't need any of that.
No, his name is not Dumbledore.
Do you know what's really disturbing about Harry Potter? Okay. Do you remember that one movie, okay, where the teacher who has come back, and he used to be the teacher who was Voldemort's that one, right? And this teacher likes clever kids, and they join his inner circle, and Dumbledore's like, he likes collecting interesting students. And then Harry just looks at him and goes, do you want him to collect me, Professor? And you're just like, dude, come on. You can't pimp out your students to fight. Okay, you're in a battle against the darkness, right? But you can't pimp out your students like that. It's totally inappropriate misuse of your power. Okay, and spoilers alert, when Dumbledore dies, I really didn't cry. Okay, I had no problems with it because he was a degenerate, right? Abuse of his power. When what's his name? The one from Die Hard died. Snape. That's it. Yeah. When Snape died, I was actually upset by that. I was like, whoa.
Oh yeah.
That's the best character in the entire all the books in the series, and misunderstood. He was in Die Hard. Now he's dead. it was traumatic for me. Can you make a shader that brings him back to life?
No, I can't, but there's probably already one inside it.
I like your shaders. They're very magical. Harry. You see, that was perfect. Perfect impression.
You have the accent too, so yeah, that helps.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Harry, nice looking rain. Good job. Dear Darby. Basically, it was voice was spot on. Thank you very much. This is opened my eyes to the magical world of shaders. I won't be so scared of them from now on. And also, it's amazing to learn that we shouldn't touch URP or HDRP yet if we want to do amazing things like this rain and your raindrops and all the other cool stuff that you can see over on Harry's website, !Harry in chat.
Oh no, I mean, you can do all that, most of that stuff in shader graph as well. I mean, it's not that limited. It has a fair bit of restrictions, to be honest, the URPs, the SRPs. But most of that stuff, yeah, you can actually do in shader graph, and yeah, they will work.
Well, I'm still not going to move there. I don't know. I'm tempted. Yesterday, right, was really conflicting for me because I had a lot of fun in URP with the Fog and Mist Volume 2 from Connect, and even though needed a bit of work to get things working, like you normally would have been 3 seconds in built in, it was the results were really nice. But now I've flipped back to the other side. Because I realise you can make amazing things. Look, one last time before we go, can you go back to your the scene from Blade Runner?
Yeah.
Because I want everyone to know that this is just using cubes, lighting, and shaders. Okay. This is not using any fancy textures or anything like that.
There you go.
This is crazy. Crazy. You do not need to be doing HDRP or URP to be looking sexy with Unity. Unity can look good, no matter what they tell you in the playground at school. Don't listen to those other kids that keep on telling you need to be down with Charlie Brown and get down with Unreal. No, you don't need to be doing all that stuff in the lumberyard to make things sexy. No, you can also be sexy with the cool kids if you're using Unity. Did he just sell his soul though? I believe I might be selling my soul. So Harry, you go off to bed. Thank you again for popping in.
Sure, yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. This was really fun, actually.
I'm really excited that you enjoyed yourself. And if anyone hasn't yet visited Harry Alisavakis' website, !Harry in chat, and it will also pop in once again his Twitter account so you can follow him on Twitter. Please follow him on Twitter. He has 14,900 followers, and there's a reason why he has that many followers, because he's amazing. I'm also going to chuck in here, there's Harry's Discord link, and here is Harry's Patreon. And if you are ever wanting to support somebody, I think Harry is well deserved of your support, because he's making shaders accessible for noobs like you and I, mostly I. Harry, good night and enjoy yourself.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
What a lovely man. What a lovely badger. If you want to see more of my crazy videos, click on the left side of your screen now, and down below there's that big juicy subscribe button, and right next to it is the magic bell that if you click it, it will tell you if I've got a new video coming out. Till next time.